partying around the idea, right? The Echo was there too. We're not going to put it past someone like Doinb.
Like, Echo, I can understand why you wouldn't pick, but Graves actually would make sense there. But still, they locked into Lee Sin. I like this pick coming in for Tian. Has always been one of his best, if not his best champion. So now it's going to be about where does EDG go with the bot lane, going back to that misfortune.
13th game.
Yeah, Hope's 13th game. EDG have loved this pick, really does well in these team fights, and it does give him a bit more power in the laning phase.
Remember it was 10.1 when we came into spring. It was Hope debuting here on the EDG roster that he quickly became known as one of the best MFs in the league, especially around the time of the meta. So we're going to see it yet again here with Meiko's Nautilus. Now, if you think MF is highly played on this team, Meiko, this is his 13th game of Nautilus as well.
Yep, and with the Braum, we do know FPX aren't going to play a very aggressive bot lane. Braum plus Aphelios doesn't have a very strong trading laning phase, so it is a lot more about these skirmishes, but with the way FPX like to play, with creating these 3- and 4-man fights in the bot side river, we know that's what we're going to see.
Plus, it's a pain in the butt as a misfortune going up against Braum as well. So already the thorn in the side. FPX have once again banned away Wukong, though. They don't want to give it to a solo lane of EDG.
Also does discourage Jinoo going back towards the Ornn as well. So
good point.
It's kind of, you don't need to ban that champion, right? It's kind of a soft counter.
Means we get to see Jinoo on something else. That would be nice. Jinoo I've always associated with the carry top lane. Remember, he was like that Riven one trick when he entered the league as well. So
I can't remember when it was, but I remember there was one year in particular where he was playing a lot of Fizz. Especially against Rumble. That's when, yeah, back in those days.
You're testing me. Sir, right. I'm a youngin'. Okay, I don't remember those days. I remember Jinoo, like the Vladimir, the Aatrox even, back before was fantastic.
But still, bans actually rounding out pretty much the same ways they did in Game 1.
Yeah.
Pretty standard. Again, EDG not wanting to play against a Kassadin kind of signals that they would like to go towards the Azir, which is something that scouts really like. And then the Rumble ban coming out is also very standard. And once again, I would just like to see FPX blind a top lane champion. They can go back to that Aatrox.
Right?
It is still open, and I feel like it fits their comp very well.
So just do what you know. Gimgoon's best champion has been his most played champion, of course. What do EDG do here, though? Last time around, it was EDG banning away Lysandra from Doinb, which teams have been doing a lot recently. Bit of flexibility to show us who through mid and top.
I would like to see Scout go towards something like this Syndra, just a very safe blind pick mage.
Yep.
We talked about how he's been so good on these mages, and blind picking champions that are very good in the side lane is actually very hard other than something like a LeBlanc, especially when you don't want to pick a lot of the side lane champions into the things that Doinb can bring out. So, like the Syndra, and now where we go with top, having a player like Jinoo, I feel like
take the Fiora. You don't want to say that?
No.
But hey, would this not have an added effect? Okay, I'll take the Kennen. Kennen is rare in these parts these days.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Kennen, actually.
Ooh, really?
So you're picking in laning phase. You are going to have some pressure on the Aatrox, but it doesn't have as much lane pressure as you would think, being a range into melee matchup. And that's going to be a lot about these team fights, because I do expect him to go AP Kennen. I don't really like AD Kennen these days. Playing pure split push champions is very hard. And now we see Doinb bringing out the Sylas. Another one of his champions that you talked about is undefeated, right?
Undefeated 4 games here for the Sylas on Doinb, so a lot to highlight here on his most played this split. And I guess we go Doinb. All right, change in champion pool yet again, going against this Syndra.
Yeah, and once again, just a very scrappy composition. Of course, Scout should be ahead in the early laning phase, but once we do get some levels on the Sylas plus Lee Sin will be just a very, very strong duo, and then we always know they're going to go into these objective teamfights strong, and him even picking up the exhaust as well is going to be very helpful.
I want to come back to the Kennen, though, on the side of Jinoo. Last year, we remember Jinoo a lot for being like this team-fighting Kennen, and so that's kind of exciting to see him once again, you know, like returning to this, even if you don't really like the matchup itself.
Well, it's like you talked about when you mentioned things like the Vlad. He's always been really good on these kind of flanking teamfight champions, Vladimir, Kennen, things of that sort.
We saw it in the, we're looking through the roll before of 2019 summer, and Jinoo was big on the Vladimir. Although it was a 2-0 for FPX, it was still a really big showing here from Jinoo. And I think I'm glad that Jinoo's back, because last year, I remember rating him in the top 4, top 5 of top laners. I don't know what you thought as a viewer last year.
Yeah, I thought it was really strong too, especially in the early laning phase. He was always one of the better top laners, and I feel like he was one of the crucial parts to EDG's success last year, making it into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But also remember that last year, EDG didn't make Worlds for the first time. I just want to throw that out
there.
So
that is kind of right, not success.
Yeah. I know this is a bit cheeky.
I mean, that's true, right? I guess success is relative to your team. Yeah. And in terms of EDG, not making Worlds, not a successful split.
Can they be more successful in this series? FPX EDG goes to a game 2 now. We'll see what EDG can do to fight back here in this series. EDG, 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 It's so nice.
I love it. It's so endearing.
It's so endearing. What a great word, Luke. All right, game 2. And FPX, I know the fans behind them will be seeing that. I saw a cursor.
Hey, I hear pings.
Oh, you think
Level 1 shenanigans?
Yeah. Hey, it's the LPL, baby. Welcome home. Let's go. As we head onto the Rift once again, FPX need one more game to secure playoffs. EDG want to stop that. They are 8 wins themselves. 2 more means they secure playoffs. And this would be a good stepping stone to get that final win for themselves.
EDG, using that word that you just used, cheeky, being really cheeky with this play right here, hoping that Lwx and Crisp will make a mistake.
Also, as a side note, FPX with a series win here will actually be above E-Star too, who are currently 10-4. And that would put them 2nd for now.
FPX not going to make the mistake. Looks like EDG are just going to have to revert into kind of normal lanes, a normal jungle start, but does look like they're posturing for a late invade.
And they're doing it now. Lwx is like, hang on a minute. Lens is going to spot him out. But they just let him walk away. Chris could be the unfortunate person to walk into this one. But now he knows JJ's there. Pings are going down. Tian starting towards red side. I'm expecting to see the crossover here from the Lee Sin.
Also, though, these runes are very interesting. We see Doinb going for the Comet rather than the Conquer.
Very much like the Shy, right?
I was going to say it's a lot more about having power in the laning phase. And then on the side of Scout going towards that phase rush, just doing his best to make sure that Doinb can't get on top of it.
I think as well, importantly, Jinoo has gone for the Spellbook in a Kennen lane.
So not necessarily looking for that pure laning power, a lot more a utility that he can bring to the team later on.
Plus Kennen with Ghost as well, if he has that after like a TP or something, is pretty obnoxious to deal with.
I just can't wait to see him, you know, recall TP, have Ignite in the lane, and then see how Gimgoon handles that. He
started with the Doran's Blade, as all Kennens do as well, to be noted. Look towards bottom side. Tian has crossed over to the other side of the Rift instead. Scout dropping a ward, seeing that the blue buff is there. Means the potential for triple buff now available, as Tian has gone for Gromp instead. Wants to position around bottom side for now.
Yeah, it does look like he's either going to look for mid or head right into the Raptor camp, but just wrapping around and heading bot side, which we talked about how FPX's bot lane is a lot more about the 3v3 or the 4v4 rather than just that pure 2v2.
And he's going to be set up here if he does get some vision down to start tracking jiejie. I'm not sure he saw the jungle moving across here, but now trying to get into the mid lane. A ping spots him out. Scout saw him. And now for Doinb, the trade back here is not going to be as influential, and Tian just has to come in and help him push the wave.
I was going to say, it looks like Doinb was trying to bait out Scout coming in, looking like he was making a mistake, but still, so just going to come out on the losing end of that trade. And very similarly to last game, we see Tian wanting to look for some aggression on the jiejie with Doinb hovering.
But all corrupting potions have been used by Doinb. jiejie even gets spotted out here. I don't think there's anything they can do. EDG's jungle with a big early lead.
Especially with Jinoo hovering is what dissuaded them, because when you look at the fact that Doinb has exhaust, so they do actually have a combat summoner as compared to Scout having the TP. So maybe they could have made something happen. But with Jinoo pushing in that lane, they just know, hey, it's not a good idea. And like you said, jiejie coming out ahead, and now Scout also going to get a good priority recall, going to come back to that lane. I guess Doinb just recalled, so.
He's back down. Yeah. Well, but jiejie is going to get this double scuttle. It's another big part of it as well. The blue buff is still sitting there, excuse me. As FPX are pushing through this lane. They're going to spot out jiejie. They're trying to collapse onto this one. A flash away will bring the favor back to FPX ever so slightly.
Yeah, just good job by abusing jiejie going for the Scuttle Crab. Of course, Lwx and Crisp were getting pushed in, but they were still in a decent enough lane state that they can hover topside and making jiejie burn that flash.
Talked about 3 versus 3. We're going to see one now. Sonic Wave into Resonating Strike. Meiko's getting low. jiejie appears, though. And now Tian has to get the heck away from this one. He'll burn as well. And everyone comes down. Great teleport here from Scout. First blood over to EDG again.
And great job just abusing that summoner spell. Different Scout, of course, having the TP. We saw the 3v3 start out. It looked like FPX were going to be on the winning end of that trade, but Scout coming in completely changing the outcome.
First blood over to the mid laner this time rather than jiejie. That's big. And look at the summoners towards the bottom side. Everything expended by FPXs. Another cheeky pillar here from jiejie to stop Doinb in his tracks. Well, again, look at Hope. Hope still has his flash available, and so does Scout.
Yep, so you're still in a good position if you're Hope. We talked about how the comp from FPX really wants to get on the backline of EDG. When you do still have those summoners, you feel like you're in a pretty good position. And now that Meiko recalled is going to be able to get back on the map, and we're going to see after jiejie full clears his top side, if they're going to want to make a play on Dragon.
This one's going to be Mountain here. Vision controlled by EDG in this early game. And look towards that blue buff that wasn't taken. Scout now going to be getting it. So first blue buff of the game is incredibly early here for the Syndra.
Yep, and with EDG knowing that FPX recalled, would have been nice to see jiejie head straight towards the Dragon. Also, Jinoo pushing in that top lane and Gimgoon backing off. Gimgoon would have had to burn that TP. Felt like it would have been a really great time for EDG to do Dragon, but it's like we talked about with that first game of them sometimes missing out on the opportunities that they have.
We criticized them a little bit about those small mistakes that FPX could take advantage of. Jinoo now level 6, so to be noted, with a 20 CS lead up in this top lane. I'm curious about the purchase. We've seen a lot of Hextech Gunblades here in this lane, or rather from Kennens in the past. And Revolver can be anything, right? Protobelt, Revolver, either way. We've seen a lot more AP Kennen these days, which is the important part. Scout looking for Scout of the Week. Won't find it here in the mid lane, but does push out the wave.
And it's like you were saying, when we were seeing Kennen more often, it was about the Gunblade. But with him buying that Ruby Crystal, does seem like he's posturing for the Protobelt.
With EDG starting the Dragon up, as you were mentioning before. Tian is spotted on the top side as well, so this is completely safe.
Yeah, I actually wonder what FPX are looking for. It seems like they were expecting someone from the side of EDG to be coming through here, but they're not. EDG pick up the Dragon a lot later than we would have hoped, and actually FPX probably could have punished this if they were in position, but look for that topside play. Now EDG also going to be able to steal away a blue buff.
Another blue buff given over. This is going to be the third one for EDG. This game, Tian has not had blue, and nor does it look like Doinb will have one anytime soon.
I was going to say, not too sad that Tian doesn't have blue.
No, of course
really
not.
Depressing that Doinb can't pick something like that up, though.
You're the mid laner who wants blue. I mean,
especially
you're a Sylas.
You have Comet, too. You want to be looking for these consistent trades.
Yes. Now we look towards the top side. Actually, Jinoo might be in a bit of trouble here. Conqueror proc, but Gimgoon not going to go for the all-in here. Things are going down. They've spotted out Tian. Jiejie's here, same level this time around.
And they have TP advantage, so this is
Meiko's
fine.
coming through. I've seen a Nautilus solo kill a jungler here before, but into 3 people. Tian's not getting out of that one. Scout, second kill. He's starting to become a problem.
Yep, and I love this by Scout, just ignoring his lane, letting Doinb push in, assisting with this kill, and we talked about how it was fine because Jinoo did have that TP.
Doinb doesn't have any mana, though. He's walked into Jinoo, the Kennen, in a very good position. Movement speed bonus from the Scuttle Crab will help him get out alive. But EDG controlling this early game map yet again, and now have a 1k gold lead.
And with EDG's bot lane having push, they could look to push this in. Jinoo has pressure in the top side, and EDG can be the ones to force a Rift Herald play.
Has just spawned as of 15 seconds ago. No Kennen ulti is an important part of that Rift Herald play, though.
Also, no Syndra ultimate. So, on the side of EDG, you actually might want to wait for those key cooldowns to come back up. Not might, you should.
You should, okay. Well, jiejie spotted out there's no vision here, but spots out Tian with the Sonic Wave. And now moving towards that objective. Doinb has reset, come back to lane as well with double amplifying tone, but even without the ulti, Scout has the Stork Shoes plus the Lost Chapter in inventory. As Tian on a ward is spotted out starting this one up.
Yep, and EDG are heading over. We see Meiko is very close, though he is not level 6. And those ultimates for EDG aren't up. So if FPX can move over first, I would favor them in this fight.
And a reset, depth charge taken away. Doinb thinks he's a Nautilus mid yet again. Scout with the 2-man scat of the week, but no engage. Lwx is here first. Hope still not to the party.
Yep, and FPX just keep going with Doinb having this Nautilus ultimate. It does look like they're trying to force a turn.
They're going to go in. They've found Meiko. Here's bullet time, though. Right through the choke. FPX is zoned away. Rift Herald almost kills them. That Rift Herald pretty damn biased. Doinb survives on an inch as Meiko for the re-engage. Tian now needs to sweep away. Scout's going to come through as well. Unleash power onto Lwx. He flashes away. Gimgoon with the world ender. The fight almost brewed into a 5 versus 5. But EDG got the health bars, and that's all they need.
And they got the summoner spells, too. They forced Lwx to flash, Doinb to flash, Tian to flash. And now you're the ones rewarded with the Rift Herald. They made enough time that those key ultimates did come back up. And we were talking about how FPX really wanted to force a turn because Doinb had that Nautilus ultimate, but did get a bit too impatient, tried to force into that choke point, and EDG were able to force him out low.
It was like what we saw in Game 1 with Doinb's Galio, right? Preemptive ultimates used to start an engage when timing is everything.
It was also good play by EDG not to overcommit, right? They didn't walk into the river. They didn't give FPX the chance to get a really good engage on top of them, but feels like FPX should have just played it more slow and really said, hey, you are going to walk into this river, then we're going to get on top of you.
Lyric, I want to point something out. Meiko didn't level his ult at 6. Look at the bottom. Okay, maybe he did. Maybe he just hit 6. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen.
He wasn't 6 in that last fight.
He just hit 6 though at base, so what I'm thinking is he had the blinking ultimate to upgrade, and he just waited a bit before upgrading it. I'm just telling
analysis.
You. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I literally thought he didn't put a point into it. Has happened on stage before, but coming back to what we see on our screens here. Scout playing that fight well. Scout of the Week used nicely. They're still in a very good position. 10 CS up over Doinb in this mid lane in our highlight matchup yet again.
I want to see EDG aggressively look for bot side vision right now. Okay. You still have a TP advantage in the top lane, maybe for about, it looks like another 20 or 30 seconds at most. So try and force something really aggressive in the bot lane now, transition that into a dragon, and then everything looks good for EDG.
You set yourselves up for the Soul, and the Soul this game either Ocean or Infernal.
Both pretty good.
Both are pretty damn good, that's right. Jiejie's down here now. He's taken away his red buff. Pings are going down for this push, you could call it.
And this is good by EDG. Go into the enemy jungle, take this vision, and then you're in a good position for these team fights to come out ahead. When we talked about how, again, you have very good peel coming out from the Trundle, have a lot of backline damage from Syndra and Misfortune, and then, of course, very strong either flanking or zoning ultimate coming out from Jinoo.
You can see they're trying to zone away the mid lane instead here for Doinb as they start this one up. So control across that full bottom side river. Crisp and Tian are on the way, though.
Yep, but still, EDG having a good position with Scout, having the push in the mid lane with Meiko hovering.
Smite secures it. Meiko looks for the re-engage. Is this the call? Chris puts up the door yet again. A fantastic pillar. But jiejie gets poked out. Gravitum comes through. The kick here from Tian sends back hope. The ultimate here from Chris is great as well. It's a 3-man Moonlight Vigil. Syndra ult stolen here, but bullet time into the choke as Jinoo lights it up. That's it. EDG will find it, but now with low health bars, the turnaround possible until Gimgoon gets bursted down. Lwx left alone here, and Jinoo shows us why he likes this Kennen.
Jinoo and Scout especially playing so well in that team fight. Jinoo coming in doing so much damage, laying down multiple CC layers onto the likes of FPX, and then Scout doing all the consistent damage in that fight.
Proto Belt was picked up before the fight, that's why he's so influential there. Now with Rift Herald through the mid lane, EDG have come firing in this second game with a 4K gold lead.
And I love it. We talked about how we wanted EDG to go to that bot side, take vision aggressively, start the dragon knowing they could come in with Jinoo's TP and look for a teamfight win. Also able to then translate that into a mid lane turret.
It was up the dragon, the turnaround from Meiko, and you thought maybe FPX can turn it themselves.
Yeah, and then good pillar coming in from jiejie, but still, FPX are then the ones to engage. Great kick actually coming out from Hope, but he does have the flash, and then the heal. Also, probably the Nimbus Cloak able to get out of there a bit faster. Bullet time is a bit lackluster, but Jinoo CCing multiple members of FPX, and now Keep Your Eyes on Scout just keeps laying down that consistent damage with those Qs, and then EDG just come out ahead.
Second stun from Jinoo as well was a pretty cool factor there, but you can see now after the fight, Scout's 4-0-1. We have seen some big Syndras in the LPL, namely Knight as of late. It's already got the Luden's Echo with the Blasting Wand. This is going to be one-tap territory here for EDG's mid laner. As he's been controlling this matchup for Doinb here in the second game quite well.
And we don't see Syndra too much here in the LPL.
No, we
it's
don't,
not as prioritized as it is over in like the LEC, right? We also do have a lot more Echo players in the LPL, so blinding something like Syndra, there is a bit of a better answer in that Echo.
As we've seen from people like Doinb in the past as well. I know Scout even willing to pick it. We've seen Diana players come through as well.
Yep. We've seen people like Icon, Scout, Knight was very famous for his Echo. I think that was the main champion that helped him get to rank 1 in KR solo queue back in the day.
We were talking about that the other day. But EDG at this point being 6-1 up. You can see their success has come through that mid lane yet again. Their success hinging on this bottom lane dive.
Yep, and they do have the numbers to do it, but their strong member Scout isn't here, but he has TP and he's playing back. So FPX just have to back away with Gimgoon once again not having TP.
The respect given over.
Great lane assignment coming out from EDG to put them in this position, saying, hey, we're going to put Scout in the top lane, then we can look to force this play.
Because it was at this point in the game when things started getting scrappy in game 1, where FPX started forcing the plays and really pushed EDG into a corner. Well, so far with this control in this game, it looks difficult, and it's hard to see how FPX exactly do that.
Yep. You're in a tough position for the side of FPX. For EDG, though, you can actually do a very similar thing to what you just did. Move Scout over to the bot lane once LWX pushes out, and then threaten the Rift Herald saying, hey, you need to put a member down here or I'm going to push this wave, but I can always TP over. And that is what EDG are doing.
Rift Herald actually spawning in a couple, not even a minute. Under a minute, in fact, as well. Everyone's moved up here from EDG. Infernal in a minute 20 as well. Under 20 seconds down that Rift Herald spawn. Jinoo has ult once again. The Ghost picked up here with level 2 ultimate now available. And level 2 ultimate for Scout as well.
Yep, and Scout not actually going to go towards that bot side, noticing the wave is in much too dangerous of a position. Is going to actually posture back down, expecting Gimgoon to push out the wave since he did walk over a ward.
Started though. Rift Herald on a ward. They don't care.
No, they're fine. Scout still has TP, Gimgoon doesn't. So this is 100% secured for the side of EDG.
While FPX sit mid and try and push up this wave, trying to get some gold back in their pockets. But where EDG put the second Rift Herald now? It's going to be the question.
Yeah, you don't have any outer turrets up except in top lane, so that is where we expect to see it.
Okay. They might be looking for Scout, though. Sonic Wave and Resonating Strike. Good scout of the week, but now he's on the wrong side. Tries to go to his first turret. Absconded Duck doesn't connect. Doinb slowed down. Scout lives for now. Well, hang on. The thing is, who does he take with him? Gimgoon goes in with the world and a good CC chain, and everyone survives in the end. With the Rift Herald push, trying to contest that movement.
So great by FPX to make the best out of a bad situation, but still, the fact that you commit 5 members down to the bot lane, now EDG are going to be able to win out across the map.
Inner goes down in the mid lane, Inner towards the top side with the help of Rift Herald to get the charge. Even if it doesn't get the charge towards that inhibitor turret, it doesn't matter. At least for FPX. Okay, they get an Infernal. And an Infernal Rift, that's okay. But okay is all you're saying in this second game.
I was going to say, it's the silver lining, right? You do end up getting that Infernal Drake, which keeps EDG one step further away from Soul, and also gives you a chance that if you could extend this game long enough that you can end up picking up, 4 Infernals.
That's a long way away at this point.
I love the vision control coming out from EDG. Look at their inventories.
Everybody's got their priorities right.
Hey, Clearlove is super happy right now.
Oh, yeah. Coach Clearlove, with his grand return, remember. He's finally come back to this roster a moment later than Jinoo and jiejie. He wasn't here for their last series that we saw.
Which, to note, though, he was still coaching the team remotely.
Yeah.
Not as big of a deal that the coach isn't in person. It is still massive. It doesn't matter. But was still able to have an impact on the team in previous weeks.
Surely when he coaches in person, you go, our morale could never be higher, right?
Yeah.
Father Clearlove is there in person. Maybe you get more meals. I don't know. Maybe you get a pat on the back. You've been a coach before. Do you ever pat your players on the back for like a good job, well done? I actually just don't know coach interactions with players, to be quite honest. Is that a thing?
I mean, I have, but it is also kind of weird.
Is it?
I brought my players out to dinner as like a, hey, good job.
So you're a good coach.
Yeah.
You're a nice guy. That's what you want. You don't want the, the coma belt. No one wants that, really. Gold on the left-hand side of your screen. Meanwhile, though, look at EDG. Whew.
Yeah.
3 different positions. They're mighty high. And Hope we haven't really talked about because he hasn't been the one picking up kills, but he's been sitting in front of turret plating, in front of waves for the past 5-10 minutes.
I just love the way they played out the last, 5 to 6 minutes, especially with that TP advantage on Scout.
And now they're looking for another play. Doinb might be caught out here, but he's in a 1-for-1 for now. The Slicing Maelstrom reversed here. The flash away from Jinoo, but now that key ulti down as FPX get TP'd on. You talked about Scout using the advantage. Well, there it is. 2 more kills for EDG.
Yeah, EDG coming in huge, being able to rotate their members down to the bot lane. And if you're FPX at this point in the game, again, you're 6K gold behind, but as the game extends, it's really going to be about playing and winning through your side lanes. Of course, you do have the Aatrox, who should be able to 1v1 Jinoo on the Kennen, and Sylas going to provide so much threat on either Scout or Jinoo.
Especially with the dive ability when Zhonya's does get complete. But again, I'll say this, we're a while away from that for FPX, celebrating the victory of EDG here in the early game, but not the rest of the game itself. There's a 6k gold lead. Scout didn't pick up the kills there, it was the Trundle, but he did pick up a Morellonomicon, and so did the top laner of EDG and Jinoo.
Yep, so on the Kennen, you know, picking up something like Morello, you see how hard for me this is.
I look at you, because every time the Morello conversation comes through,
I don't even want to do it anymore. I don't.
People are going to start calling you Budget LS, man.
They already do. But
do they actually?
I just want to say I completely agree. So,
okay.
Like, there's champions you can at least rationalize it on, right?
Yeah.
Champions like Rumble, not first item. I don't like that. I main Rumble, no. Or at least you're applying these grievous wounds to multiple members, especially when you have things like the Aatrox, the Sylas, and Set.
Yeah, well, here's grievous wounds. Let's see it in action. Trying to ult stolen, subjugate, giving him a bit of health as Jinoo's walking away from this one. Protobell to escape this mighty Sylas. Jinoo does a good job, but will he get out here? Doinb heals up with the Kingslayer. A very close call as jiejie with his 4th kill.
Yeah, I just love that EDG keep getting these pickoffs in the side lane, recognizing that FPX comp probably not strong enough to threaten or rush a Baron. EDG also do have complete vision control up top side if FPX even wanted to try that.
Colonel says 80%. Colonel says this game is EDG's for the taking. And at this point, it still looks like it. If they're threatening those side lanes, if they're punishing Doinb over and over, options running out here for FPX. 0-0 and 4 on that bottom lane misfortune, by the way. I pull this up because Hope I'm expecting in this next fight, around the Baron or around the Infernal 1 minute, that bullet time is going to destroy the hopes of FPX in this second game.
I was going to say, because if you're FPX, you really need to pull the members of EDG apart at this point, which they've done, actually, if you think about it. They keep pulling them to the bot lane, but
True.
It's only Doinb in the bot lane, and he's the only one suffering from that. But if you can get something like a skirmish where, you know, Hope does make a misstep, or Scout, or you find some kind of cheeky brush play, gonna take a step back.
We're seeing Tian in this top side, thinking that Jinoo wants to aggress onto him. But that's because the rest of EDG are coming up. Meiko with a sick flank. Depth charge up. Tian knows he's in so much trouble. He runs away with the safeguard. The kick to hit too. But Chris over the wall. He'll die to Baron and Hope. And now in front of this objective, EDG have the man advantage.
And Doinb doesn't have TP, which kind of makes you wonder why they're keeping him in the bot lane rather than Gimgoon. And they're just going to be able to take it for free if they want with, yeah.
It's going to be the Dragon trade because Lwx is nowhere nearby as well. Gimgoon's just going to posture on the outside, and Tian is not close to this objective. So EDG with a great pickoff there to secure this one.
And if you can bait out the Unbreakable from Braum, actually maybe you don't even need to bait it out with how far ahead you are. You can honestly just walk up to an inhibitor turret if you're EDG, just open up that Kennen ultimate or the bullet time as misfortune, and the members of FPX have to back away from turret, and you get that 100%.
You've already seen before, the combination is massive. If everything gets laid on top as well, it goes beyond that pressure into a kill and into the game at this point. EDG to be highlighted here. 23 minutes in, they're not letting up on this pressure. It's been smart move after smart move.
It's been really great, and you're also going to have a few options with what you can do. The fact that you do have a TP advantage on the side of EDG. You can just look for a 1-4 setup, keep Jinoo in the side lane, push out, rotate him over the team, and use those AoE ultimates like we talked about. Once Scout's TP comes up, you can look to use all 3 lanes, pulling the members of FPX apart, giving you kind of the most consistent pressure across the map. So it's going to be really interesting to see where do EDG take this one.
Towards the bottom side for now with the Baron buff in hand. They're going to be spotted out on their rotation. Scout's TP, as you were talking about before, in 10 seconds, that will be up. He's sitting towards mid lane right now, but pings are going down massively from EDG, that this is the push they want to force.
Yeah, and I like this, just having Scout push in the mid lane, but he does have TP coming up now, so if FPX ever forces an engage, you're in a good position.
That's an exhaust from Jinoo. Remember that he does have the unsealed spell book, so use that one away on Doinb, and we'll reset back into the flash that's now available.
The only play that FPX can really look for is abusing Scout in the mid lane, dedicating 2 or 3 men there and trying to get on top of it.
Making the rotation now, but they've just given up hope. Quite literally. Bottom lane's going to go down. I didn't do that on purpose. Inhibitor turret next. The train keeps on rolling here for EDG.
when you say they give up hope, I was just expecting him to be standing in front of the wave and like getting engaged on by Doinb or something like that.
Sorry, I did that. No. Unintentional, I swear. Look how safe Scout's playing, though. While this push comes through, while FPX managed to defend, Scout's still hovering around. He's
doing good because we talked about it. It's actually FPX's only option that if EDG want to try to play the whole map, put 1 or 2 members in other lanes, it's FPX's only avenue back in the game is getting on top of them because they're not going to win this 4v4 or 5v5 team fight.
After they were spotted out towards mid, EDG made the move. Informed decision-making, yet again the turret's helping to defend this inhibitor itself. Half health now on the inhibitor turret.
Yep, and I wonder how much longer is left on the Baron. We do see the icon does look like it's going to time out in the next maybe 10 or 20 seconds.
And you've only got a push here on that Baron one more time, right?
Again, you still have the AoE ultimates to force them out. Yep, so they are going to be able to posture forward aggressively.
Gravitum lands on multiple members, though. FPX is still posturing aggressively for the turnaround. Is inhibitor too much?
I don't think so. I feel like you just straight up win if you're EDG. Unless multiple members can get on Scout and Hope, EDG come out ahead. Even Jinoo at this point does so much damage to FPX's team comp.
If there was any hope, it would come through Lwx's ult, but it flies a bit too short, and EDG take the inhibitor and they back away. Controlled play yet again here from the team that's 9k gold up. All right.
So we're getting a lot more competitive of a series than I expected after game one.
Good.
It's amazing, right? Because, okay, we talk about the number now as if you get to 10 wins, 10 series wins.
That seems to be the magic one, right?
It is, but at the same time with EDG, if EDG can pick up this win with how the games will pan out over the next few days, that could change to 9 depending on how WE and OMG's games go.
Remember, against FPX as well, they'll sit right under them at 9-4 over JDG if they can win this series. I believe that is the case. With game differential, they should be the same way. EDG, by the way, also on a 4-win streak. If they can take this all the way, that'll make 5. FPX's win streak was cut short after 9 with their recent loss to Vici game.
And look at jiejie. He's had such a good game. In talking to the EDG coaching staff recently, they kind of viewed it that jiejie was the more mechanical player, but Junja maybe was the more cerebral player. But it does look like that jiejie is just showing up across the board and does look like the better player currently, which does make sense when we think that Junja is a rookie and jiejie has been around for quite a while now. But I'm really happy to see these two come back into the roster and really pan out with EDG.
Even in this series, I'm willing to say that he has been the better jungler, right, in the majority of time that we've seen in these two games, because Tian has made some early game mistakes in both series and has been caught out a couple of times already in this second game. That's made you question a couple of things here for FPX. And he's going to rely on a big kick from him here.
Yeah, and not just the kick, though, because you need to make sure you have the follow-up.
Oh, sitting on a ward. Gimgoon caught out, flashed away from. jiejie going to channel down here. He uses the stone plate amidst 3 people. And FPX is zoned out while Gimgoon also has to burn the World Ender.
I just want to say, I love Meiko.
Yeah.
Meiko at the start of the split, we're like, okay, he's kind of average. His mechanics aren't that good. He doesn't roam as much as a lot of the other supports. He's not making every play that he could. But with each series, he looks better and better. And we're really getting like prime Meiko, finding these engages, finding the picks, looking pretty good in lane. Just great performance from all around the past few sets especially.
You can see why Meiko, his Nautilus is the most played, like 13 games played. Above anything else, Meiko has had a limited champion pool this time around. That's not because we know he can't play certain picks. It's because he knows what he likes and he sticks to it.
It's funny, too, because they refuse to go towards the fasting strategy.
Yeah.
Like, they don't want to put resources onto Meiko and put hope on the Senna.
Because I remember we saw in Demacia Cup, EDG's bottom lane did play a couple of games for the fasting center, I remember, but then came into the LPL. And then it was like, nope, we're not going to see this. Hope's going to stick with Misfortune. Has already picked up a pentakill with Misfortune as well.
Yeah. Hope has been so good this split, and fans had a lot of questions with them bringing him in instead of, you know, getting some kind of high-profile AD carry, something like a Jackie Love. Yeah. But Hope has stepped up big, and I would say has honestly been a top 3 AD carry in LPL.
It's hard when you're going up against iBoy, who for EDG was becoming a staple, but now for EDG, they want to find the engage here. jiejie walking in as a 2-man scout of the week. Will connect on top of FPX, and in front of Baron here, EDG looking for a pick.
And I love Hope's build going with that rapid fire cannon. So going with the 3 items that give you the most damage coming out from your autos, and also giving you range, which, again, if Tian, Doinb, Gimgoon can't get on top of you, you guys just win.
At this point, that seems pretty likely, doesn't it? Infernal Soul up in 3 minutes 30. Just to note that as well. Because the longer this goes on, the longer this play around Baron trying to waste time. Well, we're getting to another objective anyway. As that ward in the back of the pit hasn't been spotted by the control. Oh, no, it has. Baron's big fat head is not letting me see that. So, no vision in the pit right now for FPX. On top of Meiko, the abscond abductor's there. Stoneplate used early. Doinb dead. Scout just unleashes his power.
I don't even know what that was, honestly. If you were going to look for that engage, you would expect that at least Gimgoon would have already been channeling his DP, so it makes you wonder what the communication was from FPX on that play, or if Doinb just thought, hey, I see an opportunity, I'm going to go.
And now you're stuck in a 5 versus 4 for 30 seconds. There's going to be an ultimate use on Lwx. Jinoo comes into the backline yet again. And this Kennen, having the time of his life, will use that Zhonya's in the end too. Forces out FPX, and Chris will die as well. Onto the Baron again, or more blood. It's EDG's choice.
Yeah, I feel like if you're EDG, you just keep going with this Baron. Of course, it is scary to risk it when Lee Sin is still alive. It does have that execute coming out from his Q. So it's really going to be up for members like Scout to hit that Scout of the Week and make sure he doesn't get into the pit and get onto that Baron.
He's got enough mana, and he's level 16 as well. Scout is massive here and zoning away Tian on the back. Gimgoon going to go in with low health members, but he's just dead again. Another unleashed power, and Baron to EDG.
So, screw macro, screw decision making. It doesn't matter. You're just too far ahead on the side of EDG. I didn't expect Scout to just one-shot him.
Syndra requires a lot of skill, but when you can get enough orbs to press R.
It's funny, too, because he didn't go some kind of, like, extremely high DPS build like a Death Cap or something like that.
Yep.
Did go all in on the magic penetration. We don't actually have a lot of MR coming out from the side of FPX, so I'd say the Void Staff is kind of questionable, but it was a cheap item, so why not?
Why not?
And you are so far ahead.
And Scout's going to probably get a Rabadon's next anyway with the way this game's going. Bottom left of your screen, you're seeing the engage here from Gimgoon. Low health members of EDG, but Tian just got altered over the wall. He's 4 levels underneath Scout. So you can see that the level difference is where you'd start in that one. No MR, really, for Tian either. As now with their Baron buff, number 2, EDG start their march again.
And once again, as long as they stay in a good formation, they feel fine against FPX. It really will take a Sonic Wave kick into...
But Meiko finds himself the engage before that happens. Over the wall, Scout does it again. Tian hates this mid laner who keeps bursting him down. Gimgoon's busy with Jinoo on the bottom side, and EDG are busy looking towards the Nexus. There's the Slicing Maelstrom once again. A nice solo kill to top this one off as EDG charge in.
Yep, and EDG are going to be able to pick up the win after those picks.
Well, the fight continues on. It's about cementing that lead, proving you're the alpha here in game number 2. 5 remain, and this bad boy goes to a game number 3.
EDG definitely proved that they were the alpha.
They
no
had
doubt.
to. After the first game, they had to. When FPX said, it's Chaos our middle name. EDG with a very controlled second game, looking like the better there. A great recovery.
Yeah, just doing so good, and we saw flashes of it in game 1 where they did get ahead early as well, but this time just doing such a good job once especially we got to the mid-game, just rotating Scout around the map, keeping up consistent pressure on all of these objectives.
You got to say, for EDG as well, the fact that, you know, Scout found his way so far ahead in a game 1 where Scout didn't have as much impact, where we wanted to see this mid versus mid matchup. We got it there. And on the Syndra versus Sylas, I mean, Scout was always ahead in that second game.
Yeah, and we saw, especially once it got to the mid-game, just consistently punishing the fact that Doinb did take up this exhaust and wasn't able to match the global pressure that EDG were putting on.
Teleport we keep on talking about here for Scout. And it's good because now we're at a game 3 where it's like, okay, good games from each, right? Where FPX have shown us what their style was, you know, has been so far, right? Like, we got that moment of brilliance. EDG here in the second game gave us good control. Jiejie we're talking up here in the early game and the late game. That was Really nice to see.
And seeing Jinoo's damage just does remind us of that one team fight where he did TP in and just hit so many people with his ultimate, CCing so many members. And he was such a key member in this win. It's just, we need to keep saying it. It's great to have him back. It's only his second series back.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to keep seeing this iteration of EDG, hopefully making it into playoffs.
Isn't it nice to see Jinoo on something that's not Ornn as well? I know Ornn facilitates a team, but Jinoo with Kennen in a different way has the carry potential and the facilitation there as well.
Yeah, just really good. Again, I feel like EDG just executed on the win conditions of their comp so well, really using every little interaction they could to get ahead. And FPX kind of left doing FPX things. We do have a lot of teams, a lot of our top teams in LPL, who despite being behind, they will consistently try to force to get back into the game.
Who are we talking to? We're talking to IG there as well.
I was going to say, it either works out well to where if you're ahead, you snowball games very quickly, or if you're behind, you're kind of introducing an element of like a coin flip, like chaos, to where it could bring you back in the game.
Yeah.
But against certain teams, it could just lead you to being the one who gets stopped.
But it's good that EDG have kind of realized that in the second game. They took a step back themselves because we saw the chaos trying to ensue towards the bottom lane. We saw FPX trying to punish that one lane. But after committing everyone, EDG make the smarter play, right? They're still trading across the map, always trading up, and always being the more proactive team, at least in this game.
Yeah, and they were punishing FPX at every turn. We saw them consistently invading blue buffs. Again, knowing when they could start dragons and heralds. And we saw Doinb in the side lane was not having a good time, you know, 10, 15 minutes into the game.
He was bullied a lot in that game, and now we're at a point where FPX won a piece here alongside EDG. Winning this series matters for both teams. If FPX get defeated here, they are not secured for playoffs just yet, and EDG